But desperate arrival desperation is a scent, sharp as ozone before a storm. When the Valeri landed on Earth, most people couldn't read their faces, shimmering blue skin, slitted gold eyes, but everyone could feel their panic, their envoys. Voice trembled through a translator as they begged for help. On every screen across the world, their message was the same. The Zarn are coming. Our worlds are burning. We have no armies left. Please, help us. The governments of Earth were slow to answer. Some politicians saw profit, others saw risk. Most of humanity turned away. Earth had learned to mind its own business after surviving. Its own wars. The news feed soon turned back to sports and scandal. But someone listened. Commander Elias Reeve, a man who had made peace with nightmares, watched from the shadows. His face was scarred, his hair graying, his expression unreadable. Reeve didn't care about politicians or the polls. He cared about the future, about the kind of world his daughter would inherit. He knew the Valari's reputation, honest, once powerful, now driven to the brink. He heard truth in their desperation. Reeve didn't call the army. He didn't trust it. He called legends. No one in the world talked about the Judgment Fleet. Its members were the sort of people governments denied existed. Nova Briggs had turned a mining moon into a fortress during the Outland Uprising, holding off an armada for weeks with a team of 7. Asha Cole was a ghost-rumored sniper, infiltration artist, never caught on camera. Jockstan, whose file listed him as close combat specialist, had survived missions the rest of his unit did not. Some whispered about old Black Ops, lost colonies, and impossible victories. The fleet gathered in a hidden hangar deep beneath the Rockies. No media, no speeches, just cold metal and colder eyes. 12 ships waited in the shadows, each a legend itself retrofitted war beasts, bristling with forbidden tech and custom. Reeves' own ship, the Judgment, was an old destroyer rebuilt 100 times, its hull still scarred from battles everyone denied happened. Why us? Briggs asked, his voice gravel. The world's got armies. Reeves' answer was quiet, because armies lose. Legends changed the story. No one disagreed. They left Earth in silence, engines burning blue, flagged by no nation. The Valeri gave them coordinates for their last surviving colony, the front. Line against the Zarn, the fleet jumped out into the void, each captain carrying old ghosts, old debts, and the shared knowledge that this time they fought not for orders, but for survival. As the stars blurred past, Reeve sat alone in the command chair. He trusted his instincts, and his instincts screamed that the Valeri were hiding something. But the Zarn threat was real. Humanity had only one choice: fight now, on someone else's world, or risk fighting for their own in the future. And deep in the dark, something was waiting for them, watching, calculating, hungry. Into the unknown, the Judgment Fleet crossed into Valeri space at high burn, sensors sweeping for signs of battle. The first planet should have been bustling with survivors, Valeri, strongholds, resistance fighters. Instead, it was empty. Cities lay in ruins, their spires melted by plasma. There was no sign of the Zarn, no bodies, no wreckage, just silence. Briggs led the first scouting mission, landing on a scorched colony. The wind whipped through empty towers. Inside, the team found strange markings scorched into the wall symbols that flickered with static energy when touched. Asha Cole's scanners picked up residual psychic energy, the kind seen only in classified files from the Shadow War. The planet wasn't just destroyed. It was erased, back on the Judgment. Reeve gathered his captains. The comms table was ringed with faces cut from stone. This wasn't a war, he said. This was a purge. Cole's voice was calm. We're not alone. She had picked up a broadcast on the edge of human hearing, something not Valeri, not Zarn. It was a signal pulsing a rhythm that made the ship's eye flicker. Suddenly, alien ships appeared out of nowhere. They looked alive, skin pulsing with color, hulls shifting and folding. They didn't answer hails. The AI flagged their movement as non-Newtonian. They bent space around them as if swimming in water. Before the fleet could react, the First psychic wave hit. Men and women screamed as memories were ripped from their minds' old fears. Buried pain forced to the surface. Jockstan bellowed orders, rallying his crew to focus, to anchor themselves in reality. Briggs barked out, code, deploying neural disruptors, experimental tech designed for psychic assault. It dampened the worst of the attack. But half the fleet was left reeling. A voice came across every channel, deep and cold, echoing in the language of nightmares. Legends, test subjects. Your stories will feed us. It wasn't the Zarn. It was something older, the architects. Reeve realized, too late, that the Valeri had lured them here not to fight a war, but to serve as bait. But legends do not break. The trap is sprung, the judgment fleet scattered. Briggs fired a Black Rain missile, cloud of nanites that fried neural energy at the nearest alien ship. The explosion tore a hole in the psychic network, giving the fleet a moment's breathing room. Cole led an infiltration team, slipping through shifting corridors aboard a disabled enemy vessel. The inside was a maze of mirrors and smoke each. Reflection showing the team their greatest failures. Jockstan, fighting barehanded against hallucinated guardians, snarled as illusions tried to twist his mind. You want fear? He shouted. We were born in it. With brute force and stubborn will, he led his squad to the ship's core, smashing psychic nodes with kinetic hammers. Briggs rewired the engines of a crashed Valeri station, creating a massive feedback loop. When it detonated, a wave of quantum static tore through the void. The architects howled, their ship shuddering, but the cost was brutal. 1/3 of the fleet was lost, some to enemy fire, more to madness. Those who survived did so by clinging to each other, fighting not just monsters, but themselves. Reeve ordered the fleet to regroup. If we run, they follow us home. If we stand, maybe, just maybe, we show them what legends mean. Nova Briggs, face bleeding but smiling, volunteered to lead the next assault. Let's make them afraid of our stories. Battle in the void. The final assault began in darkness, thicker than the deepest ocean. The Judgment Fleet charged the heart of the architect's vessel, a ship so vast it dwarfed cities, its hull rippling with images of ancient wars inside, reality warped. Cole and Briggs moved like phantoms through corridors that bent and folded. Every step challenged their memories, their fears, their hopes. Jockstan broke through psychic illusions by sheer force of will, dragging teammates back from the edge. Reeve found himself facing a mirror. In it, he saw a world where he'd never fought, where his daughter grew up safe and whole. The architect's voice tempted him. Give us your story. Rest. Forget the pain. Reeve clenched his fists. Pain is proof I survived. We are more than stories. He smashed the mirror. The illusion shattered. Across the ship, the others did the same, refusing to be defined by their wounds. Briggs reached the core, planting a quantum disruption bomb. As the timer ticked, the team raced for their shuttles. Psychic attacks growing weaker with every step. The architect's ship began to collapse, folding in on itself, shrieking in alien terror. For the first time, they knew fear. Legends never. Guy the Judgment Fleet burst from the collapsing architect's ship, engines straining, hulls battered. The survivors nursed wounds physical and mental, but their spirits blazed. Valeri ships, now free of psychic influence, sent a final transmission. Humanity, you have saved us and ourselves. Your legends are more than stories. They are hope. Reeve looked across the fleet. Ships floated battered, but unbeaten. Cole wiped blood from her brow and smiled for the first time. Briggs offered Jocks a half-burned cigar. They'd lost friends, but they'd won something bigger. The right to write their own fate as the fleet turned for home. Reeve sent one last message across the stars. Earth stands ready. To any who would use fear as a weapon, beware. Legends. Endure. The galaxy would remember that answer. In the deepest void, hope now had a new name, humanity. And when the next desperate call comes, the legends will rise again. End of story.